Sonic the Hedgehog takes #1, but just barely. It's got Call of the Wild hot on its heels. We got Visible Man and Wendy in the 15 or 2. Bob Iger is stepping down from Disney, effective immediately. And we got Project Luminous, which dropped yesterday. That and the rest of the top 10. Let's go. Welcome back to Stoner Watch Weekend Box Office. Let's just get right into it. Coming to #1 this week, we've got Sonic the Hedgehog. They're bringing $26 million for their weekend haul. They're down almost 55% from last week. Their total domestic as of right now is $106.4 million, and its worldwide is sitting at $202.9 million. And coming #2 this week, we got Harrison Ford and The Call of the Wild. Now they went $24.7 million for their weekend haul. That's a total domestic as of right now, and its worldwide is sitting at $40.7 million. And coming #3 this week, we got Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. They're bringing $6.8 million for their weekend haul. They're almost down 61% from last week. Their total domestic as of right now is $72.3 million, and its worldwide is $173.4 million. And coming #4 this week, we've got Bad Boys for Life. They're bringing $5.843 million for their weekend haul. They're down almost 50% from last week. Their total domestic as of right now is $191 million, and its worldwide is sitting at $391 million. And rounding on our top 5, we got Brahms the Boy 2. They're bringing $5.823 million for their weekend haul. That's their total domestic as of right now, and its worldwide is sitting at $8 million. And coming #6 this week, we've got Fantasy Island. They're bringing $4.270 million for their weekend haul. They're down a little over 65% from last week. Their total domestic as of right now is $20 million, and its worldwide is sitting at $33.8 million. And coming #7, we got 1917. They bring $4.216 million for their weekend haul. They're down almost 48% from last week. Their total domestic as of right now is $151.8 million, and its worldwide is sitting at $347.5 million. And coming in at #8, we've got our Oscar winner, Parasite. They're bringing $3 million for their weekend haul. They're down 47% from last week. Their total domestic as of right now is $48.8 million, and its worldwide is sitting at $205 million. And coming #9, we got Jumanji: The Next Level. They're bringing $2.875 million for their weekend haul. They're down a little over 48% from last week. Their total domestic as of right now is $310.8 million, and its worldwide is sitting at $787.8 million. And rounding out our top 10, we've got The Photograph. They bring its $2.785 million for their weekend haul. They're down a little over 77% from last week. Their total domestic as of right now is $17.6 million, and its worldwide is sitting at a whopping $17.8 million. Wow, that's one hell of a top 10. You know, I actually like going over the actual numbers for the top 10. I like after like the dust actually settles after the weekend, what have you, because I can't tell you how many times where I actually try to do the show using estimates and what have you, where at one point there was one movie that was going to be #1, and the next thing you know, boom, the other movie that was #2 is now #1 because like it beats it by like $20,000 or something like that, and or they switch spots going from like 4 to 5 or something like that. I just much rather do the actuals. That way the dust is settled and you know those are actual, pretty much hard numbers. So that's just me. I mean, we've got Bad Boys and Brahms fighting it out for 4 and 5 right now. Now, Bad Boys is at #4, and Brahms is at #5, but there's only really like $20,000 difference between the two, so that could have gone either way as far as that goes. And then we've got Fantasy Island in 1917. They're battling it out for the 6 and 7 position and stuff like that, and there's only like maybe a little over, like maybe 50 or 60,000 difference on that one too. So that can go either way on that one this week and what have you. So that's just something else that's just crazy. So I don't know, man. Did you see any of these movies in the top 10? Did you get a chance to go check out Sonic the Hedgehog and what have you? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you actually go see Harrison Ford and the CGI dog? Now, I have to say, I was afraid to actually go see that movie because I'd be afraid that the dog dies and what have you. And I just don't understand. Why couldn't you get a real dog? So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I have to wait and see how that all plays out. So, I don't know. Did you see any of these movies in the top 10? Let me know in the comments down below. Now it's time for Stoner Watch 15 or 2. All right, let's just dive right into it. Coming #1 this week, we've got The Invisible Man. Now they're calling it a horror sci-fi thriller. Now the description reads, when Cecilia's abusive ex takes his own life and leaves her with his fortune, she suspects his death was a hoax. As a series of coincidences turn lethal, Cecilia works to prove that she is being hunted by somebody nobody can see. Now, this movie is being directed by Leigh Whannell, starring Elisabeth Moss, Oliver Jackson Cohen, Aldis Hodge, and Michael Dorman, just to name a few. Now, I watched the trailer for the same for the first time a few minutes ago, and I got to say, this movie is pretty damn messed up. Now, I say it all the time that horror movies are not my thing, so when I see it, if I see it, that's if I see it, I'm going to say matinee at the most, mainly because I'm cheap. On net, it looks okay. Now, it looks a lot more interesting. Now, I think that actually having an Invisible Man as a horror movie actually kind of works pretty damn good. Really, I mean, it makes it more fitting than like all the cheesy ones that they used to do back in the back in the day and what have you. So this one looks kind of interesting for a horror movie, to say the least. So I don't know, did you see the trailer for The Invisible Man? You want to check this movie out? Let me know in the comments down below. Second on the list, we've got Wendy. Now, they're calling it a drama fantasy. Now, the description reads, lost on a mysterious island where aging and time have come unglued, Wendy must fight to save her family, her freedom, and the joyous spirit of youth from the deadly peril of growing up. Now, this movie is being directed by Ben Zedel, starring Yashua Mack, Devin France, Gage Naquin, and Gavin Naquin, just to name a few. Now, I watched the trailer for the same for the first time a few minutes ago, and I gotta say, it looks okay. It's a little bit different twist on the whole Peter Pan story. I don't think that anybody's got any magical powers. I didn't see Captain Hook anywhere, but I bet you there's gonna be somebody that's gonna be playing like the Captain Hook-like type part. I would put money on it, but I mean, it looks all right. So when I see it, if I see it, I'm going to say matinee at the most, mainly because I'm cheap. On that, it looks all right. I mean, I'm not going to rush out and go to see this opening weekend, what have you. So I don't know, did you see the trailer for Wendy? You want to check this movie out? Let me know in the comments down below. And coming number 3 this week, we've got The Ride. Now, they're calling this one an action. You don't get that very often. Now, the description reads, an inspiring story of a BMX champion who overcame the abusive childhood through the love and life lessons of his interracial foster family. Now, this movie is being directed by Alex Renarvario. Sorry if I butchered your name, dude. Starring Shane Graham Ludacris, Sasha Alexander, and Blake Sheldon, just to name a few. Now, I watched this trailer for the first time a few minutes ago, and I can say it looks okay. Now, I'm not going to rush out and go see this opening weekend, what have you. So when I see it, if I see it, I'm going to say matinee and matinee at the most, mainly because I'm cheap. Now, I think this director also did that Bennett's War movie as well, and that was also about like a BMX rider and what have you. So he must have a kind of a thing for people riding on BMX bikes and whatnot. So I don't know. I used to like to kind of watch that stuff back when I was a kid back in the day. So this looks all right. I'm more like leaning towards like seeing this one at home, to be quite honest with you. But it doesn't look too terrible. So maybe like the $2 range, at the maybe $2. So I don't know. Did you see the trailer for The Ride? Check this movie out. Let me know in the comments down below. And coming in number 4 this week, we've got Burden. Now, they're calling this one a drama. Now, the description reads, when a museum celebrating the Ku Klux Klan opens up in a South Carolina town, the idealistic Reverend Kennedy strives to keep the peace even as he urges the group's grand dragon to disavow his racist past. Now, this movie is being directed by Andrew Heckler, starring Garrett Hedlund, Andrea Riseborough, Forrest Whitaker, and Crystal Fox, just to name a few. Now, I watched the trailer for the same for the first time a few minutes ago, and I have to say, it looks pretty damn good. So, but I doubt I'm going to rush out and go see this opening weekend. So when I see it, if I see it, I'm going to say matinee and matinee at the most. I mean, this movie looks quite interesting, but I think I'm more leaning towards seeing this one at home, maybe. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look totally terrible, what have you. And Forrest Whitaker is a pretty damn good actor. I don't really know anybody else that's in this one except for him. So other than that, looks pretty good as far as I go. But I doubt I'm going to go watch out and see this in the theaters and what have you. So I don't know. What did you think? Did you see the trailer for Burden? You want to check this movie out? Let me know in the comments down below. 5th on the list, we've got St. Francis. Now, they're calling this a comedy drama. Now, the description reads, after accidental pregnancy turned abortion, a deadbeat nanny finds a unlikely friend with a 6-year-old she's in charge with protecting. Now, this is being directed by Alex Thompson, starring Kelly O'Sullivan, Sharon Alvarez, Braden Crawford, and William Drain, just to name a few. Now, I watched the trailer for the same for the first time a few minutes ago, and it looks okay. I don't really think I'm going to rush out and see this out in the theaters and what have you, but if I see it, when I see it, I'm going to say matinee and matinee at the most. I'm leaning more towards like the $2 range. This is kind of like a Hallmark movie made up on the big screen as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it looks kind of interesting, what have you, but I mean, I don't know. I'm leaning way more towards the $2 one on this one. So I don't know. Did you see the trailer for St. Francis? You go check this movie out. Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, we've got Lost in America. Now, they're calling this one a documentary. Now, the description reads, a documentary of a film that follows director Rotomi Rainwater, a former homeless youth, as he travels the country to shine light on the epidemic of youth homelessness in America. Now, this movie is being directed by Tommy Rainwater, starring Rosario Dawson, Halle Berry, Tiffany Haddish, and Jewel Ketcher, to name a few. Now, I watched the trailer for the first time a few minutes ago, and it looks kind of interesting. Now, I can't really see myself paying theater price to see this. I would most likely see this like something on the Discovery Channel or something like that, but it looks interesting, and it's kind of a shame that this actually happens. So, I don't know, did you see the trailer for Lost in America? You going to check this thing out? Let me know in the comments down below. Now it's time for Stoner Watch News. Falcon and Winter Soldier, how U.S. agent became Captain America in the comics. Now this story comes to us from Screen Rant, and it goes on to say U.S. agent will appear in Falcon and Winter Soldier masquerading as Captain America replacement. A story straight from the comics. At this point, it's become clear that the Falcon and Winter Soldier is drawing inspiration from a particular story arc in the Captain America comics. The storyline in question happened in the late 80s and involved U.S. agent taking Steve Rogers' place as Captain America. Disney Plus Super Bowl TV spot confirmed that the fan theory that U.S. agent would become Captain America in Falcon and Winter Soldier. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier will explore the ramifications of Captain America's Avengers Endgame ending, which saw Steve Rogers select Falcon to become the new Captain America. Disney Plus' first MCU show brings back Falcon and Bucky Barnes for a team-up that will somehow involve other characters from the Captain America trilogy, including Sharon Carter and Baron Zemo, who will finally receive his iconic purple mask. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier will also feature the MCU debut of the Marvel Comics superhero U.S. Agent, a.k.a. John Walker, who will be brought to life by actor Wyatt Russell. In Marvel Comics, U.S. Agent wears the black Captain America costume and wields a shield similar to Steve's. Known for his aggressive and sometimes antisocial behavior, U.S. Agent distinguished himself as a key member of the West Coast Avengers during the late 80s and early 90s. It appears that one of his stories, which happened before he took the name U.S. Agent, will serve as the basis for the Marvel's Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. How U.S. Agent became Captain America in the comics. When Steve Rogers decided to step down as Captain America, the government looked for a replacement and believed they had found a suitable candidate when they discovered John Walker, a man who bought his super strength off the black market. He currently was operating as the costume vigilante super patriot when he was first approached about becoming the new Captain America. After accepting the position, Walker was taught how to use his shield by Taskmaster and given his own Bucky in the form of the new hero named Battlestar. The new Captain America and Battlestar fought crime as a duo and began taking on terrorists and other threats. For a time, Walker wanted to emulate Captain America and prove that he was worthy of being his replacement, but he was less idealistic as Steve and proved too aggressive for that to work. Unfortunately, Walker was unaware of what Captain America meant for himself or for his family. He quickly became a target of a very powerful people, and before long, his parents were murdered by his enemies. This, along with other incidents, contribute to U.S. Agent having a mental breakdown. He ended up going on a murderous rampage and killing the people he held responsible. Meanwhile, Steve Rogers moved on from being Captain America and found a way to continue being a superhero. He took up the mantle, the Captain, and began carrying a new shield created by Tony Stark. In one of his ventures as a captain, he was forced to rescue his successor, Walker, from the vigilante Flag Smasher. How Captain America defeated U.S. Agent in the comics. As the John Walker storyline stretched on, it became apparent that the showdown between the two captains was inevitable. It finally came to pass when Red Skull infiltrated the government and hatched a scheme that would turn the two against each other. He showed Steve Rogers that Walker had killed people in cold blood, fooled Walker into thinking that Steve was the true mastermind. The two engaged in an epic fight that lasted for quite a while. The problem for Steve was that Walker was several times stronger than him, making it incredibly difficult to do anything considerable damage, and the force of Walker's blows was almost too much for Steve. As their fight continued, Walker's mental issues brought about Red Skull's scheming, as well as everything the super soldier had been through, became more apparent that Walker grew increasingly savage and reckless. He tried to strangle Steve to death, but was finally knocked unconscious by Steve. Following his tiring battle with the new Captain America, Steve confronted Red Skull and defeated him. In the aftermath of the fight, Walker came to his senses and made amends with Steve Rogers. The government tried to reinstate Steve, and with some convincing by Walker, Steve accepted and resumed his role as Captain America. Later, John Walker decided not to walk away from being a superhero and took up Steve's, the Captain, costume and became U.S. Agent. How U.S. Agent becomes Captain America in the MCU. How will Falcon and the Winter Soldier adapt the U.S. Agent origin story? Netflix Jessica Jones already adapted a variation of the Power Broker story, so Marvel may instead recreate Steve's super soldier serum or develop a whole new formula. But why choose Walker for this project? Set photos indicate that the U.S. Agent will be a highly decorated war hero, so his service in the military could be why he gets the job. This would set him apart slightly from the comic book character who never saw action while in the U.S. Army. Obviously, the biggest difference between the comic and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the Captain America himself. The comic book version is a Steve Rogers story, but Chris Evans' exit in the MCU forces Marvel Studios to put emphasis on different characters instead. In the show, it will be Falcon, not Steve, who will need to claim what's rightfully his and become Captain America. The way that Walker was being paraded around as Captain America during the football game in the Falcon and Winter Soldier Super Bowl TV spot suggests that the government is trying to hype him up as a new American symbol. The question is, will he, like the comic book's counterpart, fail to live up to the ideals and standards of his predecessor? If so, Falcon and the Winter Soldier maybe team up to defeat him and save Captain America's legacy from being tarnished. Now, I have to say this is just awesome, awesome news. I'm looking so forward to this show now, more so than I was beforehand, because the reason being is I have that comic book series, all of it. I think that was like the first Captain America comic book that I ever bought, and that's why I bought it, because it was like red and it had like an empty Captain America suit and stuff like that, and it said Steve Rogers or something along the lines, quit. And then like, what? And so I forget how old I was when I bought it, but I remember one of my trips that we used to take with my family going up north, which is pretty much up to Port Sand Lake from my house, which is not really all that far, so it's not really up north. But to us as kids, it was up north. But anyway, we used to buy comic books a lot and stuff like that because there wasn't really much to do up there. And I remember buying that comic book, and then after that, I was hooked, man. And I remember reading that whole entire storyline. So now, I just wonder how they're going to change the story around, because obviously it said in the article that they're going to change the story up a little bit. And when I watched the TV spot, I missed that they had U.S. Agent in it, or at least I didn't really notice that it was U.S. Agent, because it didn't look like the costume that I remember from the comic books and what have you. But just reading this article has got me so geeked and waiting to see this show, so I can't wait. Now, technically, in the comics, at one point, Bucky Barnes does take up the mantle as Captain America. He doesn't last long, I don't think, from what I can remember, and he dies. So like, it's obviously this is a little bit different in that one. So I don't know, I'm waiting to see how this all plays out. Did you see this story that they're going to use U.S. Agent to take up as the new Captain America, and they're going to basically using his storyline from the comics back in the 80s and 90s? I mean, I had those comics. I can't wait to see that come to life. I mean, I know it's not going to be like word for word and everything else, and it's going to be a little bit different, and I'm okay with that, you know. So I'm just waiting to see what they do, because I mean, this is just awesome. This has got me so geeked for this show. So, which is going to hit around August. They have yet to say what day it's going to happen on. So, but I don't care. Hopefully they're going to do like the week-to-week type thing. You know, like 1 week at an episode and what that, or I don't know, which I think that's pretty much what they've been doing with Disney Plus and what have you. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Did you hear this news about the U.S. Agent being the new Captain America and the Falcon Winter Soldier show? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think this is a cool idea? They're going to bring his storyline into the MCU. Now, granted, they're going to change some stuff up, but is this cool? I can't wait to see this. Can't wait to see this. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Star Wars Project Luminous is upon us. What is that you say? Well, that's a pretty damn good question. Now, for months now, Lucasfilm has been hinting at this Project Luminous. Now, we did not know exactly what that was up until like last Monday, where they dropped details on what it's going to be. Now, it's going to be a new series of books and comic books that they're going to be launching around in August. Now, the storyline they're going with this Project Luminous, they're calling it the High Republic era, which takes place like a couple hundred years before the events of the Skywalker saga. Now, in the trailer, they used the tagline with from Obi-Wan saying, "For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic, before the dark times, before the Empire." Now, they're kind of going to play on this. Now, like that, there's like over thousands of Jedi. They're spread out throughout the galaxy. They're kind of like they're kind of comparing them to Texas Rangers and what have you, like pretty much roaming through the galaxy, solving people's problems and probably starting other ones. So, but this is awesome. I can't wait to see this. This is quite interesting, to be quite to say the least. Also in the video, they had like kind of like a behind the scenes like type thing where they show all the authors and the Lucasfilm Story Group getting together at Skywalker Ranch and breaking down, like, it had like storyboards and they had concept art and like stuff like, you know, kind of like stuff that they show you, like all the things that they were basically trying to hash out this storyline, what have you. Now they're going to have Justina Ireland, Daniel Jose Older, Claudia Gray, Calvin Scott, and Charles Soule, just to name a few. Now, I believe that Charles Soule book will be the first one that drops in August. I believe August 25th was the date, or at least I believe that's the release date, or at least it's going to be roughly released around the same time as Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. I can't wait to go. I don't know about you, but I'm looking so forward to it. Now, the title of this first book is going to be Star Wars The High Republic, Light of the Jedi. Now, there's supposed to be like a series of books and comic books and what have you, but there really is no word whether or not if there's going to be any feature films or Disney Plus TV shows that goes along with this Project Luminous. I guess it all depends on how well it's received, to be quite honest with you. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Like, so far, what I've read and seen, this looks actually pretty damn cool. So I don't know, did you see any of this stuff about Project Luminous? Did you hear about Project Luminous? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, I'm looking forward to see where they go with this. I mean, they can go anywhere with this. They're not bound to any preconceived notions of like, hey, you can't be doing that with my character. Now, I have to admit, I did a little bit that myself with the Skywalker saga because, hell, I grew up with it. You know what I'm saying? I saw the first movie when I was 4 years old, and I've been watching Star Wars ever since. I read 99% of the EU at least 10 times over, at least. And in some of those books, I read even more because I liked them so much. But that's just me. I mean, I am a little bit behind so far on the Disney canon era books. Now I got to get up with these. At least though I'm going to go in with these, it's not going to really, I don't know. I'm looking forward to see where they actually go with this. Now, in the timeline, technically Yoda can be around. Now, I don't know whether or not if he's actually going to appear in any of these novels and what have you, but he is alive at this time period because he was trained Jedi for, you know, for 900 years. I've been trained Jedi, he said. So I'll have to wait and see if that actually happens. Now, I didn't read that anywhere. I'm just throwing it out there. He is alive in this time period, so he might at least get a mention or two. We have to wait and see. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you looking forward to this Project Luminous? Let me know. Bob Iger steps down as Disney CEO, effective immediately. Bob Chapek comes in to take his place. Now, this is just something that's just crazy. Now, the internet pretty much exploded yesterday when this news dropped. I have to admit, I was going, what? What the hell happened? I thought, like, what did he do? You know what I mean? Because in this day and age, it's pretty much where everybody's mind goes. It's either like, what did he do, or is he sick? So, but apparently, and I watched this interview on CNBC last night, and with him and Chapek and what have you, there's basically something that has been in the works for quite a while. He's like, you know, look, he's still going to stay on. His contract does not end until 2021, like December 31st, I believe. So he's going to stay on as the executive chairman. Chapek is going to take over the day-to-day operations as Disney CEO, so that, you know, frees Iger to do other stuff like something like with creative and being on the board and what have you. So at least for like the next year or so. And after that, he's just going to, he's just going to retire and right off into the sunset. You can't really blame him. I mean, the man has done a lot, especially within the last 15 years. He helped Disney buy Pixar. He helped Disney get Marvel. He helped Disney get Lucasfilm. And he also helped Disney acquire 21st Century Fox, which was pretty much also to go help with the launch of Disney Plus with content and what have you. So, I mean, the man has done a lot. I mean, he's basically going to walk off the court and just throw his three-pointer and just say, hey, I'm out. Peace. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really blame the man. I mean, he's like, I guess I heard today he's like 71 years old. Man, he does not look like he's 71 years old. And he's a successful businessman. You just can't argue with that. So, I mean, it's kind of a shame to see him kind of go, but I mean, I don't know. I have to wait and see how it all plays out. I don't know, man. Are you shocked to hear Bob Iger is stepping down as Disney CEO? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you care that he's stepping down? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this Bob Chapek dude? And I'm hearing like mixed things on this guy. But from what I understand, he is qualified to actually take over on this kind of job. He's got the qualifications from what I've heard so far. So I have to wait and see how that pretty much all plays out. So I don't know. Did you go check out Sonic this weekend? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, it's been one hell of a top 10. Like I said, I like it after going over the actual numbers, and you get to see who actually did what and what have you. And this week, we've had like 4 movies battling it out for their places and what have you in the top 10. So that was kind of exciting, I guess, a little bit. So I don't know, did you hear about this Project Luminous and all these new books in the High Republic era? Are you looking forward to that? Let me know in the comments down below. So I don't know, man. It's just been one crazy week. I did actually have another story about they were going to. Last week on Screen Rant, it said that there was like Disney was going to have a Mandalorian and Baby Yoda meet and greet at the parks. And I had the thing all put together, all edited, graphics, everything, the whole 9 yards, all good to go, like the other day. And then yesterday, I was scrolling through Screen Rant, and there was another article. I don't know if it was the same journalist or not, but another article saying, no, they are not going to do that now. So I don't know if they're going to, if they're not going to. So as of right now, they're not going to. I just figured I was going to bring it up because I put all that work in it. I'm at least going to say something. So they were thinking about having a Baby Yoda and Mandalorian meet and greet at the Disney parks. As of right now, they're not doing that. Just so you know. So, I don't know, man. What'd you think? Did you see any of these movies in the top 10? Did you hear about this other stuff, Bob Iger and stuff? Let me know in the comments down below. See you next time. Peace. Make sure you click on that subscribe button so you can be notified every time I drop another video. Hey, while you're at it, check out one of my other movie review videos or check out one of my drum cover videos. Give it a like, give it a share. Join in the discussion in the comments down below. Have a good day. Peace.